we go. Hello, girls out there. I'm just a few minutes early, but I thought I'd... There we go. Let's see. Hello, girls out there. Let's turn that one on mute. And so I've got the volume up higher on that. And let's see if we can get the lights figured out here a little bit better. I'll put that one right there so we don't have quite as much of a shadow. Let me close the door. And I am hoping we have some audio men here, and they have been drilling, and they've promised me it's not going to be too bad. It was pretty loud though. What are they doing? Oh, they are moving the TVs down lower so you don't have to look up at them like that. And let's see if we can get some comments going, see if anyone is watching us. And then the other thing they're doing is putting in a booster. So part of our house had no, reception, computer reception, and they are putting in another booster, and they have to drill something in the ceiling. But some of these things are pretty noisy. So let's see if I make sure I don't have anything on my teeth. So, and okay, let's just see if we can find someone out there who's tuned in. Who's going to be the first girl to send a hearts up or something, a thumbs up, and find us this morning? I hope we have some people. Out there. Is there someone out there? Let us know. Type something in if you were there. Send a comment. Oh, Nancy Lund. Oh, you found me. Okay, I'm glad. Oh, great, Nancy. Thank you so much. Just one person. Send some hearts. Send some thumbs up. Keep doing that because that really helps. And then there are some people who watch and who don't comment, and that's okay too. But just send me some love. So to give me some encouragement, and that helps Facebook post it. I don't know how it all works, but oh, Martina. Oh, good. I'm so glad you found me right away, Martina. And you are still in Belgrade. And do you have any idea when you're going to move back to Oregon? Anyway, so I will be back in Montana next week. We come home on the 31st. We have sort of a long day that day. Our son John is building, and Andrew are building apartments in Tennessee, Knoxville. So John is going to be flying to Knoxville earlier in the week, and then the pilot will drop him off and come to Florida and pick us up, and then we're going to stop in Knoxville, Tennessee and see the apartments, and then we're going to fly on to St. Louis and drop off Terry's sister and her husband, and then we're going to fly on to Montana. So a lot of stops with a lot of different people, and we should be home by Wednesday evening. So a week from tomorrow. Okay, a couple of you have found me this morning. Let's see, what else can we talk about for a second? I said, I hope we don't have too much noise going on. We have two men downstairs with big ladders and big drills, and they're moving TVs lower. They were supposed to come at 8 o'clock this morning, and then they came at 11 o'clock. So anyway, and then they're putting in a booster for our internet system because we had no system working in a few places. So anyway, today is March 23rd. We are into spring for sure. And that is wonderful, isn't it? Let's see if anyone else we have. Oh, yes, that's right, Nancy. Your husband, John, is from Knoxville, Oak Ridge. It is pretty there, and I bet it's like spring there now, too. That's the nice thing about, Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky. It's always beautiful in April or March. Even in March, it starts turning green. Anyway, oh, hi, Melissa. So glad you're watching us. Melissa is one of our new team members. She lives out in California. So glad to have you, Melissa. So great. Are you at work this morning, or are you just getting to watch this on your own time? But so happy, Melissa, that you've joined us. So, okay, girls, I'm just going to talk for a few minutes, and maybe a few more will find us. There were several announcements today. There are some new things about shipping. A lot of things are on back order. They are tied up. It's not shipping on Stampin' Up's end. It's more on the ports. The ports are congested. Everything is due to, oh, hi, Carla. I'm missing you here. My sister Carla lives in Wisconsin. Oh, you are. Good. I'm glad you're working from home. Anyway, last week, some of you got to meet my sister Carla and my sister Chris. They were here visiting for a few days. Okay, the big news today at Stampin' Up! Was that tomorrow is the day that they will post the retiring list. So this catalog, ladies, this annual catalog that you have, today is pretty much the last day they will guarantee that you'll get something from this that you want. Tomorrow, things will be posted for retiring. I'm not sure what time they do that. I know we as demonstrators all get to see the new catalog at 1 o'clock Mountain Time, I think. So I don't know if the retired, maybe someone else knows that. The retired list goes out and people go like crazy to order things. They'll have things reduced prices and discounted prices. It's always a very busy day. And I'd encourage you as demonstrators, those of you who have customers, get up early and look at this and send information to your customers, because the sooner you can get it to them, the sooner they can order. So anyway, this catalog is ending. The date is ending May 3rd. It's really right on the very back down here. It's a whole month earlier. We're on a new time schedule. Anyway, oh, thanks, Carla. Retired list goes out at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. So anyway, that's 3 o'clock my time here in Florida. So it's a little tricky. And I am going to be at the chiropractor tomorrow at that time. So as soon as I get home, I'll have to post it. Anyway, print off that, highlight your catalogs. My business person, Rhonda, always suggests that we highlight all the things that are leaving. Now, the nice thing about what's happening is our mini catalog is still good. This one is good until June. So we have a whole nother month with that. So we're going to have a brand new catalog plus our mini catalog. So anyway, that is what is happening tomorrow. And I don't know, I am just totally pulling this out of the air. But I think maybe last year Stampin' Up! Gave us a new retired clearance list also. Clearance update. Sometimes we never know when they're going to do. I could be totally wrong, but there are actually 3 items that are on the clearance rack. So they need to do it soon, and tomorrow seems like a very logical day. So I don't know. Just take a look at that tomorrow too. And it's always a little tricky finding out where you can look for the new catalogs. It's going to be the PDF, and that is going to be under the catalog section on your demonstrator, on your main page. It'll be under catalogs. You click the word catalog, but we'll see tomorrow, and hopefully it'll be easy for us to find. So that's all what's happening tomorrow. Okay, let's stay tuned now for a fun day with gold leafing. This is something many of you probably have bought already. It makes the biggest mess you can ever imagine. And we are going to be making 2 cards today. Oh, thanks, Lisa. Thanks for the hearts. Appreciate that. Helps everyone find us. I'm first going to do a card. Both cards are going to use the Art Gallery stamp set from this catalog. And that is on page 30. It's a 3-page spread, 32, 33, and 34. And the stamps and dies are wonderful. And this is what I'm doing in my class this week, my kit class to go. Hey, Melissa, did you ever get your kit, the last one that I sent you? I know. Anyway, yes. Oh, good. I'm glad you're answering that, Carla. Yes, Stampin' Up! Will send out a new catalog to us. And we'll just have to stay on top of that and make sure, because if we don't get one by, I don't know, like the second week in April, then we need to call them. But they're pretty good about it, but sometimes it's a little tricky. So the first card that I'm going to show you today is going to be not using the gold leafing, but I'm going to show you how I would do it. And then the second card is completely with gold leafing, and it gets very, very messy. And the best thing to clean up gold leafing is a Swiffer cloth, like a Swiffer duster. I also have a dryer sheet. Oh, good. Thanks, Melissa. I'm glad you did. A used dryer sheet works really well too, but not as well as Swiffer. Swiffer's got it. Okay, we better get going because this is going to take some time. And let's close your eyes. I'm going to flip you down to see the cards. Let's change this over. Give me a second. There we go. We'll zoom in. This is just my little. These are two cards. This is a hydrangea one that I made yesterday with Sharon Armstrong, the mystery stamping lady down in Texas, and I didn't know what I was making. I can see the audio people that are here now have just turned on some music. Interesting. Well, we have music going now. Get my cough drop. This card my sister Carla made for my husband's birthday. Now I'm going to have to, give me a second, hold on. I'm going to have to turn this, turn the music off that just came on. Sorry about that. I think the men downstairs that are working did that. Okay, luckily I have 3 computers set up here, so we can do that. I'm sorry to delay us like that, but here we go. I'm coughing too. Okay, this is what we're making today. It's a Z fold, one of my favorites, a real easy, fun fold. And it goes like this. So, and it uses the Fine Art Gallery, and it uses some acetate. So I'm going to show you. This one is sort of, it has a floral, and this one's sort of like a mosaic, but otherwise they're exactly the same. So we're going to make that today. I'm going to show you how to do the stamping and everything. Let's get our supplies over here. We're doing the art gallery, and there are the stamps, and the dies are wonderful. In fact, I have 2 because I did a lot of die cutting for my class. Well, I didn't buy 2 on purpose. I just accidentally bought the second one, but anyway, it came in very handy. It's really handy to have when you're die cutting for classes, sometimes to have 2 of something. Usually I do that like circles or ovals or those types of things. But you can see these stamps. This is the bolder one, and that's like the overlay. And even that can be overlaid on that one and that one. But it's a great set of stamps. Really have enjoyed it. I could not stop using it initially when I first got it. Okay, here's our little package of things. I actually already have a tutorial all typed up for my class. And we will pull these things out, and I have an envelope that I've stamped on. Already did that. So, okay, if you want to take a screenshot, you can do that. So just get your phones ready. You're going to need a base. This is just a long, skinny card, the 4 1/4 by 11, and this is gray granite, which is sort of has a little bit more brown in it than the Smoky Slate. 4 1/4 by 11, and I'm going to score it at 5 1/2, so it's just in half, and then it's folded back on itself. 2 3/4 is that measurement. And then, so we're going to use it this way. And then you need 2 pieces of white mats that are 3 3/4 by 5. And I have embossed one of these mats. I know that many of you have this already, the painted texture embossing folder. Oh my gosh, it is like the best. This one and the seashell have been on back order, and they just came in. They were in yesterday. Wonderful. They're 3-dimensional, so they need that gray plate also. So I've already run that through the embossing folder, so I wouldn't have to do that on the screen. And here is our inside piece like this, and I'm going to be stamping on that, so we'll get that out. And this piece is just going to go over the top like this. So let's do our stamping and get that done. And we're using photopolymer stamps, so we're going to use our piercing mat. And the stamp that I'm using for the inside greeting is from the hydrangea. The world is better because of you. It's going to say happy birthday on the inside, on the outside, and then the world is better because of, or it's going to say thank you rather. Anyway, so here is, we're going to use some gray granite. We have a couple different ink pads. We have Old Olive, and then we have Smoky Slate and gray granite. Do you see how this is definitely a grayer, and this one has a little warmer tone to it, the gray granite. We're going to stamp the inside with that. Get all these things over here and out of the way. Let's see once if you can see that or not. Good, I can see the hair. The world is better because of you. There we go. Isn't that a pretty stamp? I'll clean it over here on my chamois. And we'll move that aside. And we're going to bring in our flower. And I already have a little piece cut for the thank you. And I'm going to do that next, a little thank you. You could use the birthday greeting for that too, so either one. But, oh, that one didn't, it's not quite good. I don't like the way it looks. But I'm going to just turn it over to the other side. And I just sort of smoothed it out a little bit. It's hard sometimes when you don't get your head over it. It's hard to, I don't want to do that while I'm doing a video. So now for the stamping, I've already die cut my flower. And what we're going to do is we're going to stamp with 2 pieces. We're going to do the Smoky Slate first. The lighter one is the Smoky Slate. And let's do it first on, we'll just do it on the inside and practice that way. So I'm going to stamp the Smoky Slate. I'm going to stamp it off. And I'm going to turn it over. I'm actually going to do it down here. So it's sort of light. And then I'm going to I'll do my full strength gray granite. There we go. And there's that. So now I'm going to do that on this. This is gray granite. I'm going to flip that over. I don't want to get, okay. And now you can see, I'm just going to line this up. Some of you will do this on a Stamparatus. There's the light. And now I'm going to do the over stamping in the gray granite. And it doesn't have to be perfect. This is going to dry lighter than it actually is too. So we'll close those up. You have to make sure that you really snap them tight. And now our stem is going to be stamped the same way in olive. And I'll just move that right there. And this is the old olive. And here we go with that. Let's just stamp it right there to give it that. So it's not a, sometimes that first one that you stamp up will be like a bead. It's a nice thing about photopolymer, you can just see right through them. And there we have our stem. And close that one up. And we are done with that. And now I think we can just put it together. We'll put that aside. I will. Let's go ahead and just give these a good cleaning. I have my chamois here because we're going to use these in another. So we'll give it so there's my chamois that are in Montana. They almost are all black. They've been used in so many classes and things. These are pretty new because only I use them. So anyway, there we go. We'll put those back in here so they're all nice and clean now. I'll tell you what, that chamois, when they came out with that, that's the best thing that I think we've ever had for cleaning stamps. I was always such a big, I love the other one, the other method too that we still have in the catalog. I don't know if they'll retire that or not. They could, I think. Anyway, now let's put our card together. But I love this chamois. So our white mat was 3 3/4 by 5. Ran through the embossing folder. Take my cough drop out. Okay, and let's put our card like this. We're going to put this on the inside. And you want to do your inside first. Get it nice and straight, aligned. And then when we cover up, we're going to cover this up with the embossed one. And you see how I want it to be exactly the same. So I am actually going to just put some embossing. Let me get my little chamois out here. You know, one thing you can always, this is what I do, I usually just make it start that way, but you can also do it on your little so that should do it, I think. And let's see if we can get this one nice and straight. Let's see if you're still... Okay, good. That works. Let's see what our card... Oh, I know what I did not do. We did not get the other pieces, the other elements out, but I can still do that. But it would have been a little bit nicer to have done it first. Okay, so these are the acetate that comes in this whole suite of products. And it's gold on one side, silver on the other. And I wanted to do something with the silver side, but even though we're doing gold leafing today. But anyway, I want to show you this, and it's 1 1/4 inches by 5 1/4. I know, I just sort of guess, make these things up as I go. So, I mean, I sometimes will do 2 or 3 sizes. Now you can sort of see how it's sort of bubbly right here. There is a layer, a film, a protection on, I think it's only on one side, and you just peel it up like this. There's also one of those on our paper trimmer, and you peel that up too when you get our paper trimmer. So now do you see, it's just a protection. I'm not sure if there's one on the other side. I don't know. Sometimes it's really hard to even know if you've taken it off. This one looks pretty clear, but usually you can just sort of do something on the end. I think this one is gone already. I think I took it off, but I can't remember exactly. Oh, no, it's still there. You can take it off with your, did you see what I was doing? I was just sort of like lifting it like that, and there it goes. All lifted off. And now we're going to put this on like this. Oh, we're going to use the gray side. Do you see why I should have put this on first, because then I would have cut it off, but we can still do that. It'll be just fine. Okay, we're going to use some glue dots here. We're going to use some glue dots, and I know we're going to have the flower is going to be covering up some of this, but you know, you don't want to use, oops, I can't get the glue dots off. There we go. I think what I'll do is I'll take my piercing tool like this and just put them on. There we go. And wherever there's just a little bit of heavier line, you don't need a lot of them because we're going to have other things that will be holding things down. It's just a little bit easier maybe on this one. You can hide the adhesive a little bit more, but the one I'm using is a little bit more open-aired, but we don't need that many. So, okay, let's see. We're going to put it right in the middle, and that end is good. What I like to do, and I'm not doing this in front of an audience, I line it up on my grid like this. And then I try to make sure that this line and that line, that looks good. So now that should be enough to hold it. And I'm going to get my older scissors out, and I'm just going to trim it off like that. You always want to trim from the back. It's just a better line. You don't trim too much. You can make the mistake of trimming too much if you trim from the front. So there we go. And now we're going to put in some of this ribbon. I just thought when I was thinking of what to do with this card, I just sort of, I don't know, I just looked through my ribbon drawer to see what worked with the silver, and that's how I just sort of pull things out. And this is my ribbon scissors. I have a little ribbon tied on that, and now I'm going to take my adhesive, and I'm just going to run a little bit of, this is the Seal Plus. I stopped right there at the end. I'll tuck that in a little bit. And now I'm going to just place this right over the top. You could use glue dots too. There we go. Now I don't like the two ends that way, so I'm going to trim. I'm going to trim it so that it's. I'll trim this end so it's sort of pointed. I like to have the points going opposite. Now it looks worse than ever. Let me get my little scissors and see if that'll help. Because I should have done more of that. I should not have done this end. So there, and then we'll trim it this way too. There we go. It's not perfect, but it will work. So now we're going to add our stem, and this I'm going to, I'll just add this with my regular snail. It's not snail, it's seal. It's just plain stamping seal. We used to have the snail last year, and I'm glad they retired that. I love having this new adhesive. Okay, and here is the flower we stamped. Let's put a little wink of Stella on this. It'll go like this. This is a new wink of Stella I finally opened up this week. And they're starting to make them now so that they're clear on one end and white on the other. Our old ones look like this. This one's empty. I do save my old ones. They work for watercoloring, things like that. Anyway, that's the new. And I'm going to add some dimensionals. I'm actually going to just use a big piece. I love these. I love these big sheets of adhesive. And I just cut them into different sizes and keep them in front of me. I have my dimensionals in front of me too. But I can just use one of these big pieces like this, and that should work really well. It'll hold it down. So there we go with that. And then we'll do our thank you. And let's pop that up with some, I'm going to actually, this is skinny. I'm going to use one of my, these are the strips that we have in the catalog, the adhesive strips. And I like these for skinny things. So I'm going to put that on the back. You can also use the mini dimensionals. I just don't really like mini dimensionals very well. On the other ones, I put my thank you down here. I'm going to put it up here this time, just like that. And now we need some rhinestones, which I don't know where they are. Anyway, I don't think I have them here with me. Maybe I do. I don't know. Everything's a mess. So I'll have to put the rhinestones on later. So here are my 3 cards and envelope. You get the idea. I used on this one. I used the the glittery clear ones that are new, and in this one I use regular rhinestones. So I use 5 of those. So, but I think it's really a neat card. Thank you. The world is better because of you. I don't know. I always need thank you and birthday cards. So I will add some gems to that, and I'll post these this afternoon. So there's that card all finished. And let me just move these things out of the way. And so I have a somewhat of a clean slate. It's sort of a mess here, but it's going to get even worse. So I need to get these things out of the way. I'm going to show you something. If I were doing a card like this is going to involve the gold leafing, but I want to, so we're not doing this card right now. So, but this is how I did the gold leafing for this. Is one of the cards in this week's class. It's another Z, it's a modified Z again, but it's with the acetate. But I didn't want to do it on the silver because on the silver I don't like the silver and gold together. But I just take my regular Tombow and I just put little lines like this wherever it's dark, wherever I want it. It's sort of with the same curve, like that. And now you can, with gold leafing, you can buy the heat and stick powder, which Stampin' Up! Has, and I bought it. I've bought it many times. I've done this technique probably for 15 years. I first did it with Shirley Hilltop back in Farmington, Missouri, where I used to live. Now, I would let this dry for 1 hour. I don't like heat and stick powder. I honestly do not. It's messy. You have to get your Versamark out. You have to stamp. You have to get your embossing gun out. And then you have to put the powder on. And then it's finally sticky. I like using Tombow. And my very favorite is using your sticky tape, your tear and tape. And some of you still have the red tear tape that we used to have. But most of you probably have this newer. I only have tear tape in this one width. But I know back in my house in Montana, I have some wide rolls of the red sticky tape from a long time ago. And those really are pretty too for some borders. So that's what we're going to do next. Let me move these things out of the way and bring in our next card. And that's where we're going to use some sticky tape. So, get it. I'm going to bring this all in. The first thing you do when you get gold leafing is you find a Tupperware or a plasticware container. And you have to do that because you cannot work out of this little jar. This jar will expand about 5 or 6 times. And I'm not going to open it up quite yet, but I will in a minute. So here is my envelope of things. We're using these wonderful papers, the Fine Art Floral, and you can see how you could even die cut some of these. There's one side, there's another. I love that pink. This is just a great paper. This is the yellow, and this is the paper we're using today. And the other side is an orange. Used a lot of this one, the pool party, and it's sort of a brush look on the other. Some great colors in those. So this is the Fine Art Floral. Okay, the key to making this look really artsy, I think, is this embossing folder. This embossing folder, the Paint a Texture one. Now I'm going to show you one where I did it, where I used it, and one that I forgot. So, and I didn't want to. Anyway, I'll show you. Here are the parts and pieces. So let's see. Okay, this is what the card looks like when it's finished. You have one here, this one. I forgot to do I did the embossing on the white, but not on this paper. This one I embossed the whole thing. This one I have a different, this one's sort of plain, that one has more stamping. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. This is a very fun and very easy technique. It is messy, however. So you're first going to take your thick white base. It's 5.5 by 8.5. Fold it at 4 1/4, scored. Take that off. And then we have our white. We just take our piece of white that is just a regular size mat, and I ran this through the embossing folder. The mat, I'll put this on here so in case you want to take a picture. The mat is 4 by 5 1/4, and it's in white. And the DSP is 2 inches by 5 1/4. So there's no margin at the top. And I want to leave this a little bit of space on the left because I'm going to put my gilded leafing right here. So I've already done that. So what I would do is I would adhere this down. Okay, let me see what's here. Let me see if I need to. Doing okay. This all looks crooked. Sorry about that. We don't like to have things crooked. Okay, now I'm going to stand up so I don't get my head in here. I'm going to line this up so it's nice and even. I've got my flowers going up. I believe this one is just a bit smaller because that's what I had, but it's 4 1/4, 4 inches by 5 1/4 is what. So I ran that whole panel. I forgot to do it on this one, and I already put my sticky tape on, so I'm not sure how that would work if I would run it through the panel, the embossing folder, and then pull this tape off. I'm not sure, so I didn't want to do that. And so now we're going to put our tape on, our sticky tape, and here it is. So I'm just going to pull this off. And the nice thing is it's tear and tape. It's got sticky parts on both ends, so actually I should have. And I'm going to take my little scissors, and you can tear this, but I want to get a nice straight line, so I don't like to do it with my good scissors. I don't like, but there we go. That'll work. And now we'll do the other side. Sometimes when I'm doing a video, I just get ahead of myself. I was gluing things down and should have been putting this on first and then putting it on. But anyway, it'll be just fine. I'm gonna cut that off. I think these men downstairs that are working, these audio people, and they've been very, very good so far about not drilling. Maybe they've gone to lunch, but they said they would try to be real careful while I was doing this until 1 o'clock. It's not going to run that long, but anyway, there we go. And now you always want to burnish your red line tape, your sticky tape, like that. You can do it with your thumb or with a bone folder. And now you're going to take your piercing tool and lift up. So this is what I do. I'm going to lift this up like this. Pull that off. I'm going to lift the other one off and pull that one off. And now I'm going to just set that right here ahead of me, and I'm going to pull out my gold leafing. And this, you have to be very careful because you can't breathe on it. It'll fly all over the room. You can see how staticky it is. And it is a mess. You can see I had this whole container was filled, but I've taken some out to put in bags for my class, people who are buying my class this week. Now, it's nice when you have a soft brush. This is an old stipple brush. I probably had this one 25 years ago. I used to do toll painting too, and we used to do stippling. And this is one of my stipple brushes, and or a sponge, just one of our Stampin' Up! Sponges. This one came in my paper pumpkin box. You can use that. But I like a sponge. A toothbrush is, unless it's a very soft toothbrush, but it needs to be a very soft brush, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. But you can see these flakes are just they're gold, and I think our price point is it's just paper thin. I mean, it's really, really, it just floats. When I opened up the jar the other day, it just floated and attached itself to things. So you will not want to ever put things back into the jar. You can just throw the jar away. You won't need that. But now that I've got this open, I'm going to press. I'm going to take my card back, and I'm just going to lay the sheets on like this. You just take them out of there. Just lay them on. Just put them on like this. Just trying to cover things up. And you're going to be reusing all of this gold. So once a long time ago, when I was doing tall painting, we gold leafed a frame, and I have no idea where that is anymore. I think I gave it to someone, but you can see I have some. I'm missing some here wherever they're sticky. So I'm going to just pat that down. So I give it a good, and I'm going to put some of it over here on the other side. I've got plenty here. It'll one jar of the gold leafing, I think, will last you maybe many years, unless you're doing a big frame or something. Okay, let's see what's here. You see how it just starts? You have to be real careful about talking when you're doing this. That would not be something. Now I'm going to just sort of rub it with my fingers. I saw someone's video, and they did a manicure. They did something with their fingernails with the gold leafing. And you just want to see how when I'm pressing it like that, it just it flies. Okay, now I'm going to just take it over. I've got a lot of stuff on my mat. I'm just going to sort of take it off. Just going to brush it in here like this. It looks pretty messy yet. But now what I'm going to do is you can take your sponge and you can just move it around like this with your sponge. You see how it's sort of cleaning it up? Or you can do the same thing with your stipple brush. You just sort of go round and round. But the sponge actually works very well. These are cheap. You just go round and round. And that looks pretty good. Pretty good. We're going to clean it off with our brush. There we go. And I think it's good. It's a little bit rough because my edge was rough right there. There we go. And that is very pretty. And now we're going to have a mess going on. And I don't think that my other one is quite dry. We'll see maybe at the end. But you see it's drying. The flour is drying. So we'll wait and see. We'll give it, I like to let it makes a mess if it's not 45 minutes or so. Okay, so we have that. And then we can do our stamping with our happy birthday, and we're going to just do that with, and what I like to use, anytime I'm using gold, instead of getting gold embossing powder out, I like soft suede. Soft suede is a good look for gold. It almost mimics it. And let's see, we're going to do happy birthday. Oops, see, now we got gold on my ink pad because it just jumps. So we're going to do this, and stamp it right there in the middle. Clean it off. And then we're going to take our little tiny stamp. I'm going to just sort of clean this gold leafing off because I have physical therapy at 1:05, so I have to jump on the golf cart right after this video and go over to my physical therapy session. So I'm trying to get the stamps cleaned up too as I go. This is Poppy Parade. This is the color that's in our, and I'm going to stamp it off twice this time and go right over that happy birthday now just to give it a little bit of, do you see how light that is? That was stamped off twice. And now we'll give that a good clean. It's just a little tiny flower. That flower can also go over this flower. So, but we're just doing, that would also be really pretty on the envelope, which I just forgot to do now, but that's okay. We're running a little bit out of time. So now we'll do some dimensionals on, and I have not been able to see a single comment, but I love going back and reading your comments. And I will post this afternoon when I get back. I will post pictures of all of these things. And if you would like my kit class this week, I still have a couple of openings for that. It's $30 for, actually you're getting 5 kits plus a box. And so I'll be sending those out on Friday. And here we go with this. I'm going to just put it down like that. And we have our cards. Oh, I forgot to add the gold ribbon. Well, it's too late. So, do you see how I put the gold ribbon? That's a beautiful ribbon. It's got flecks of gold in this, but I could maybe do something, tuck it in there or something. I don't know. It doesn't have to have it on there either. There's plenty of gold. Now, I know when I get back to Bozeman, I'm going to look at some of my older tapes because I know I have some wider ones and they make nice borders. You know, you can even do like 2 rows of the sticky tape or 3 rows and do fun things with it. But I thought this was a great idea. Anyway, that's our card for today. Now I'll show you just real quickly. This is not dry, but I'll show you what I do. It may not work, but because it's not dry. But it would be, I would just press it on here like this. And then you just rub it off. I'm trying not to rub too hard because it is still sort of, it's wet. You want it to be tacky. And oh, it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. But you get the idea. You can see it's smeared a little bit down there, but there is our technique for today. Our gilded art, gold leafing, and oh, hi Jan, I can see you're watching now. Let's flip the camera, and here we go. Good. Oh, thank you very much, girls. I can see your comments, and I can see, oh, there's Carolyn Williams and Lisa, Melissa. Oh, thank you, girls. I'm so appreciative of all of your comments and hearts and thumbs up. And so remember, tomorrow's a big day. Be sure you, oh, I lost you for a second there. I don't know what happened. Tomorrow's a big day. So check the demonstrator site. And sometimes if you follow someone in Europe, they're on a different time schedule. If they announce something early, they will know it and post it. Poodles is a gal that usually posts things early. So if they do something with the clearance rack, she's the first person to check with. I'm glad you got to see the gold, because if you've never done this, it's extremely messy. And it'll be messy. I have to get some Swiffers and you know, it's hard to clean up because it just floats everywhere, especially as you breathe and try to move things around. But I'm glad you got to see it in action too. And I don't know if the gold leafing is on back order. Now I've got stuck to a bunch of stuff here. It might be for a few days, but it might be on low inventory. But it's a great product. I hope they continue to to use it in the next catalog. So tomorrow, don't forget to look at the new catalog. And then I think it's April, we get to pre-order. We won't get to pre-order everything. They never let us do everything from that thick catalog, but they will give us many, many hundreds of dollars of items that we can choose from, and we can pre-order. And I think that starts like the 3rd or the 4th of April, which is right around the corner. So, and I think the people that signed up for On Tour, that's happening right after Easter. So we should be getting our catalogs around Easter, a little bit after Easter, I think. Alrighty, girls, thanks so much for tuning in today, and I appreciate you so much. You've all done such a great job. I can't wait to have some classes again in person and meet a few more of you, but I will continue to do these Facebook Lives. I love doing them, and I think I can reach a lot more of my team members from all coasts. And we have a Zoom team meeting after Easter. It's on a Wednesday night. I don't know. I can't remember what date it is. I think it's the second Wednesday night. It's in the evening. And so it's like at 5 o'clock Pacific time, 6 o'clock Mountain time, etc. But I'll write that down for you too. So that'll be our next team meeting. Thank you so much. I sure appreciate you all, and take care, stay healthy, and I hope that hope to see you all next Tuesday. Next Tuesday will be my last day in Florida for a while. Alrighty, I'll talk to you later. Bye.